In the ancient city of Athens, over 2,400 years ago, a great philosopher named Socrates faced a trial that would not only seal his fate, but also leave an indelible mark on the history of philosophy and the pursuit of knowledge. The death of Socrates is a story of wisdom, courage, and the clash between an individual's commitment to truth and the power of the state. Socrates was charged with impiety, disrespect to the gods, and corrupting the youth of Athens. These accusations were brought against him by influential figures in the city who felt threatened by his unorthodox approach to philosophy and his influence on the younger generation. Socrates was not a typical philosopher. He didn't write down his thoughts or establish a school of thought. Instead, he engaged in what we now call the Socratic method. He roamed the streets of Athens, engaging people in discussions, often with questions that led them to think deeply about their beliefs and values. His method was characterized by humility, relentless curiosity, and a commitment to finding the truth through reasoned dialogue. In 399 BC, Socrates was brought to trial before a jury of 501 Athenian citizens. He was known for his humility and his acknowledgement of his own ignorance, which had earned him many admirers, but also some enemies. During the trial, he defended himself eloquently, asserting that his mission was to encourage people to think critically and examine their lives, not to corrupt the youth or disrespect the gods. However, his defense, instead of placating the jury, further angered them. Socrates was found guilty by a narrow margin, with 280 jurors voting against him. In Athenian legal procedures, there were no defense attorneys or judges. The jury both decided the verdict and determined the punishment. Socrates' response to the guilty verdict is where his unwavering commitment to his principles becomes most apparent. When asked about the punishment he believed he deserved, he proposed a peculiar penalty. He suggested that he should be rewarded for his services to the city with free meals in the Prytaneum, a place of honor. This suggestion was seen by many as an act of defiance, a refusal to compromise his beliefs even in the face of death. The jury, already irritated by Socrates' defense, was further incensed by this suggestion. They had expected him to propose a more traditional punishment, such as exile. Instead, he seemed to challenge their authority and the legitimacy of the charges against him. Despite the jury's rage, they were bound by Athenian law to follow a legal process, which allowed the condemned to propose their own punishment. Nevertheless, Socrates' persistent commitment to his principles led to the unfortunate outcome. He was sentenced to die by drinking poison. Socrates accepted this fate without hesitation. He saw it as an opportunity to remain true to his philosophy even in death. He believed that an individual's commitment to reason and virtue should not waver in the face of adversity, even if it meant paying the ultimate price. He also saw his death as a way of highlighting the flaws and contradictions within the Athenian legal system. Socrates' execution was carried out by making him drink a solution of hemlock, a toxic plant. He was given the opportunity to escape or change his mind, but he refused. Surrounded by friends and students, including Plato, he calmly drank the poison, discussed the nature of the soul, and soon succumbed to its effects. The death of Socrates has left an enduring legacy. It symbolizes the clash between individual conscience and the power of the state, as well as the commitment to principles of reason and virtue, even in the face of persecution. Socrates' unwavering dedication to philosophy, his courage in the face of death, and his commitment to truth and self-examination have made him an enduring symbol of intellectual integrity and moral courage. Socrates' philosophy continued to be developed and disseminated by his student Plato, who recorded many of his teachings and dialogues. The Socratic method, with its emphasis on critical thinking, questioning, and self-examination, remains a cornerstone of the Western philosophical tradition, influencing generations of thinkers and educators. In the end, the death of Socrates serves as a timeless reminder that the pursuit of truth and the defense of one's principles are values worth upholding, even when the cost is as high as one's own life.